Hey everyone, today going out of Dania Beach, doing a little bit of offshore fishing, so looking for tuna. Started out in about 200 feet on top of the ledge, just gonna jig on out. Normally early in the morning I like to start a little bit shallow and just work my way out, because usually those fish will still be shallow from the night. So first drop, made a few jigs and felt a little bit something weird, and my jig is gone. So great start. Love it when the kingfish are thick and eating $10 jigs left and right. So tied on another jig, went a little bit further south. Drop number 2, here we go. I want to say sorry in advance for the noise. My camera mount wasn't really attached well, so you're hearing a lot of clunking. So drop number 2, didn't take long to hook up. It's a nice little almaco. If I caught this later in the day and it was my only fish caught, it might have been going into the bag. So because the wind's pushing me out so fast, typically if I hook up to something that's relatively small, I'll kind of pedal back to roughly around where I started, just so I can jig the depths going out still. Because while you're fighting that fish the entire time, you're getting pushed out, and you could miss the highway where the tuna are that day. drop number 1 and 2 were pretty, I'd say pretty good, considering I got bit both times. So maybe third time's a charm and I pull something decent. Up again. Now if you notice, I'm just kind of pulling up this fish. He's not really fighting. Usually that's a telltale sign that it's a bonita. Sure enough, it's a bonita, and that's where I messed up a little bit. Should have paid more attention and grabbed him a little bit harder, because this fish didn't fight at all. Now he decides he wants to fight. Normally I try and avoid these things. They're, in my opinion, a waste of time and energy when I'm out here, especially on the kayak. So, jigged for another hour or so with no other hits. Went back into about 200, put out a flat line, and as you saw in the beginning, I was getting ready to put out a second bait out when the first one gets hit, so the big ones were active today. And when he screamed off and went down. So at this point, I almost radioed to my buddy that I got a big tuna on. So now that the line's getting straight up and down, it's feeling like dead weight, but it's heavy. And I'm not feeling the tuna thumps, so I'm really at a loss as to what this fish is. You know, he's going straight down, and he hit a bait on top. But again, I'm not feeling the tuna thumps or really anything. It's just weight being pulled. So at this point, I really have no clue what I hooked. And I got the leader in, looking down, and I got a shine on what it was. Hence why I took the gaff out. I'm not gonna spoil what I think it was, but I'll let you guys keep guessing. But again, this is a weird fight. I've never had one of these fish do this to me. Again, got the leader in the rod. And pretty much every time I'd get the leader in the rod, for at least the first couple times, he would immediately just make a run. And at this point, I'm just kind of enjoying the fight. You know, this fish didn't make any screaming runs in the beginning, so I knew this fish was real green. Again, just this fish is acting real squirrely. Coming to the top, running away, running to me. You know, coming at the top, shaking its head. Just odd things as you can see right there, odd things for a big kingfish. Usually they'll make 1 or 2 runs, come in, get next to the kayak, make another run, and then you can gaff them and they're pretty much done. This one was just doing everything differently. And I could have taken the gaff shot right there, but I really want to tire out this fish just because of how big it is. I don't want to gaff it, have it rip the gaff out, or tear through and end up pulling the hooks. If this was a tournament, this thing would have been gaffed already. I would have taken the risk. But since I'm out here just having fun, if I lose them, I lose them. But got a nice belly shot on this fish. A little bit bigger than I thought he was, so I'm gonna have to adjust the gaff before I bring him in. But a nice mid to upper 30-pound fish. Right after this, I lost one that was about twice this size. Ended up shaking the hook after about a 100-yard run. But yeah, this is not a bad fish at all. So, blew through my bait with those fish, had one left, was out jigging, and my buddy and I decided to call it around 10, 11 o'clock. And on our way in about 80 feet, my deep bait, I put my one gog on the deep bait, it gets smashed. And I tell him, you know, hey, you can start heading on in, this is probably just a kingfish. Catch up with you in a sec. Well, this was about 15 minutes into the fight, and this fish is just taking me out, not doing any head shakes, so I have no clue what I hooked. And sorry in advance for the music. I was blasting music on the way in. And you know, I'm just hanging on, letting this fish tire out. I'm really trying to get some sort of tail beat or, you know, head shake, just some sort of sign that this isn't a shark. finally gaining some line, thinking this fish, you know, he finally gave up. It started out in 80 feet of water, and I'm in about 130 now. So this fish took me out quite a ways. Gaining a ton of line on this fish, so I think, okay, this fish is done. I'm gonna start heading in once I get this fish in the next 2 or 3 minutes. And right here is where I think, okay, he just got eaten. Whatever this fish was, he just got eaten by a shark. Because it just came real heavy. So now I'm just applying pressure because I'm just trying to break off or just cut my losses on this fish. And in hindsight, I'm glad I didn't. So now I'm just looking in the water. This fish is getting close. I'm looking for the weight. Now I'm getting a little bit of tail beats, so I know this is a fish and not a shark. Alright, the hardest part's over, getting that weight off. Now whatever this is, I can relax and fight it. Finally get some color. And I can see, okay, now I see why it was just bulldozing me this entire time. It's just a big AJ. I try to be nice. I try to gaff him in the lip so I can release him, because he's not hooked that deep. But I don't have anything else to really bring him up in, and I don't want to... Last thing I want to do is get a stinger hook stuck in me. And he's just not cooperating, so... Give it a few more tries, and just end up gaffing him. I tried to be nice to this fish, but he just wasn't gonna let me do it. So he ended up coming home to be fish tip. But just goes to show, you never know what you're gonna hook. I wasn't over a reef. I was on a ledge. Wasn't anywhere near a wreck. And this dude just decided to come up and hit my gog. But overall, it was a good day. No tuna, but was able to get a big king and a big AJ. Went through all my baits, so coming home with no bait, it's always a good thing. When I found those kings, I had about 6 baits and went through 5 of them within the first hour and a half on those fish. And they were all big ones that I was losing, so I wasn't doing too good there. After that, went to go jig till my arm got tired with my buddy. He ended up not finding any tuna either, so they just weren't around that day. But yeah, if you like this sort of content, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is going to be the majority of my content, but I'll switch it up every once in a while. Go inshore, go freshwater fishing whenever it's too rough. But can't beat days like today where you question everything that you hook. So yeah, till next time, see ya.